Welcome back. My next guest is a Canadian-Irish comedian who you probably know. She's had several specials on Netflix, a number of television series in which she's appeared in the UK, sitcoms. She's all over the place, and she will be at the Just for Laughs Festival on July 29th and 30th with her own show entitled Mrs. at La Maison Théâtre. She's joining me now. Katherine Ryan, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me on the show.
So great to have you on the show. I've seen your specials. You're awesome. So you're from Canada originally, right?
Yes, it's always a real thrill for me to be included in any Canadian show because really I am a waitress in Canada as far as I know. I wasn't really doing I was trying stand-up. I was starting, but then my career has all really been over in the UK, so it's always good to come home to JFL.
Oh, that's awesome. So where were you in Canada originally?
I was born in Sarnia, which is a town that I hope that you've not heard of.
I've heard of it. I've even visited Sarnia, actually.
Oh, no, I can only apologize.
Oh, come on.
I mean, it was an okay place to grow up, but then it was the type of town where once you get to be an adolescent, if you are at all theatrical or just different, and you're not an athlete, it's a real athletic hockey town. You just have to leave. You have to spend some time out west or maybe even go to Queens or move to Toronto. And that's what I did. I moved to Toronto and I went to Ryerson. And then very soon after that, I just moved to London to follow a boy who I since broke up with, but I stayed here.
Okay. So, and how did you get into stand-up?
I tried stand-up comedy at Yuck Yucks in Toronto, just because I was always trying. I mean, you have to really transport yourself back to the early 2000s when Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera were the epitome of what every young woman wanted to be. I had skin-colored hair and hair-colored skin, belly ring, and I just wanted to be soft and agreeable and likable, and I never was. I felt like I was always saying things that seemed to be inflammatory in Sarnia, and I found real kindred spirits at Yuck Yucks. I just thought, oh, well, I'll do stand-up, and that will be a way for me to exercise these demons. I can do all this stuff I think is funny there, and then I can go back to trying to be a very likable, sweet, soft cheerleader. And that didn't work out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm kind of happy it did work out. Because you had
no one wants a 40-year-old cheerleader.
No, unfortunately, no. So tell me about, for people who don't know Katherine Ryan, I mean, how would you describe your comedy?
I think my comedy keeps changing and evolving, which is what we all want, even though we see a lot of comedians get pulled up for jokes they told 10 years ago, as though any of us is the same that we were 10 years ago. I used to be very shocking, I think. I was this sweet girl with a sweet voice in the UK who would do roast battle, and I would do that kind of comedy with Jeff Ross, who I'm sure you know from America.
The roast, the celebrity roasts,
Yeah. And then we kind of learned that type of comedy doesn't rub everyone the right way, and I softened a bit. My second special, Glitter Room, on Netflix was very, very feminist. And then now I've done a whole, transformation where I accidentally got married to my high school sweetheart, who's also from Canada. I was home in Toronto. I bumped into him after 20 years apart.
Wow.
We got married. Now we have a little boy. I'm expecting another baby with him. I've become like a factory for privileged white men, so I've had to change my comedy a little bit.
Well, congratulations on that. So, way to set it up. So tell me about the show itself, Mrs.
It's called Mrs. I originally was thinking of calling it Miss Us because for a decade I was a single mom to a very articulate, spicy little British girl who was born over here when I was 25. And it was just the two of us against the world, really. And that's when my career started to change. We had all these incredible experiences, and I loved that decade. And I found that being a single mom was frowned upon. You know, you're sort of told by the universe that you're damaged goods or that someone left you. And I missed that time with her. But then just when I least expected it, and it's so cliche, but I really didn't expect it, I went home to Toronto. I was at the Bija Hotel in Toronto, some new hotel. I'm sure it's shut down and there's a different one now. But this is just pre-pandemic, January 2019. My high school boyfriend walked in. 9 months later, I'm a Mrs. and my whole life has changed. And my daughter really fought against that at first, and now she loves him. And we are this shape of a family that I just never saw. So it's all my experiences, like being someone's wife.
Yeah. Okay. Because when you talk like that, I'm reminded of because I reviewed some of my favorite clips of yours, and your bit on Hamilton, which is an amazing bit. So you could go see it on YouTube. So there's a lot of feminist comedy to your comedy, and I'm wondering two things. One, how has the Me Too movement influenced you, if at all? Influence your comedy? And two, how has the pandemic also affected your comedy and how it is coming back to stand up in front of real people?
Well, I feel like, to answer your question, the Me Too movement was really interesting for comedians because I think a lot of us always spoke about feminism. I think everyone talks about what's in your wheelhouse.
Right.
And an Asian American gay man is always an Asian American gay man, so that's going to be a thread through his whole gaze of the world is going to be informed by that. Similarly, I'm a woman working in a very male-dominated industry, though that's less so as we see more voices and socioeconomic backgrounds and genders come in. So a lot of my comedy has been feminist, but then the Me Too movement brought it to a head where people were ready to hear about predators and more like in-your-face kind of stuff. And then I feel like what I personally had to be careful of is not turning my comedy into a TED Talk.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of it becomes making statements people agree with rather than telling jokes.
Sure.
So then in the pandemic, I think we all went online. We had nowhere else to go. I think the world got predominantly offended by everything. I think there's a trend now in taking offense and getting some type of joy from canceling someone before you're canceled yourself. But really, this show for me, I've brought loads of jokes into it, like old-fashioned, like I'm not preaching about this or that so much anymore. I'm just making almost old school observations about what it is to be in a traditional shape of a family. And the reality of my comedy is I do upset people sometimes and I do offend people, even though I try to articulate myself in the fairest way possible. So I think that's how it's changed for me. And being in front of audiences, they don't seem to take offense the way I imagined they would. The way someone takes offense on the internet is always very different from how they take offense in real life.
Oh, yeah.
So it's good that people are back at festivals, back in clubs.
Well, it's going to be great to have you in Montreal. So the show is Miss Us, July 29th and 30th at La Maison Théâtre. Tickets can be purchased online at hahaha.com. Can't wait to see it. Thank you so much, Katherine Ryan, for joining us today.
I really appreciate the chat. Thank you.
Take care.